Right now it is time for our weekly trip down I-95 to the sunny climes of Florida and bring in Tim, Luke, and Greg Strahm, the Appraisal Guys, the frick and frack of Nick and Knack. You can always find them at tqag.com on the web. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
And so you guys didn't get anything from this latest hurricane, and we're going to get tomorrow into Thursday probably anywhere from 2 to 4 or 3 to 5 inches of rain.
Yeah, it's coming your way.
Yeah, it's some storm.
Yeah.
I'm glad we missed this one.
Yeah, 140-mile-an-hour winds. I think it should be glad.
Oh, yeah. No, and our hearts go out to all the people affected, because we know what they're going through in having to prepare and get things together, but not that bad. Wow.
All right, I want to go to a story that just caught my attention, and that is you see a lot on TV about things during wars that are smuggled in and out, sometimes by soldiers, sometimes just by normal people. But there's porcelain that was seized by the Nazis is going up for auction in New York City, and they expect it to bring in more than $3 million.
Hello.
Yep.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear us?
Yeah, Greg, go ahead.
Okay. So anyways, there's actually porcelain from the 1930s that's going up for auction in New York City. It was uncovered in a salt mine, Monuments Men. It'll be auctioned off next month. Part of the Nazi haul, I guess, from World War II.
It's I guess Greg can't hear us. Anyway, we can hear him, he can't hear us. So a whole collection, and it's part of that provenance, and I think it's also the movie, the Monuments Men, that also gets people excited about this sort of thing. And when you think about this, it's more the provenance. It is the stuff, but it's also the provenance and the background of this. And Sotheby's is actually the house that's doing this. But there are some amazing pieces. There's a 1727 Meissen mantle clock case that's going to be included. And I think there are about 117 artifacts that will be included in this sale. And some of these things, there's some Meissen pieces, which Meissen itself, when you think about a lot of the porcelains that are out there, and we've seen just a downward trend for regular plates and dishes and things like that. But for the Meissen and pieces of this age, and then you add the provenance, there's a major uptick, I think we're going to see in what the prices are going to bring. And I mean, they expect it to the whole collection to sell close to $2 million. So it'll be interesting to see, where all the prices go. But I think it's because of these are desirable pieces, but also with the provenance, that also adds a whole lot.
All right. I just scan here, and I'm amazed that you still find auctions, and we're not talking about millions of dollars worth of money, but there's a story about a couple of paintings found by Ireland's impressionist were found buried somehow in a storage unit in Ohio, and they expect those to fetch almost $60,000. You often wonder, how does something like that happen, where a piece of art, and it's not strikingly famous, it's not worth millions of dollars, but still winds up in a storage unit, and it could be worth $70,000.
Right. And in that story, it said that the family owned it for generations, but thought that they were worthless prints. Which, that's the other thing, is that this is where it's always worthwhile to check it out. Now, this is where Greg and I have received the nicknames the Grand Leveler and Dream Crusher, is because a lot of people do ask us, hey, what do you think about this? And we've had to tell them they are just very nice lithographic prints, or they're not the originals. But it's interesting because most people, they either think that they have something and it's $1 million and it's really rare, or they don't get it checked out and they don't look at this. So it's these things still happen, and I think it's just family members just they don't want to part with things. I mean, we know so many people that just say, "Oh, I can't get rid of this. I just can't get rid of this." And some people, they should get rid of some of those things
Well, I'm
because they're
saying is,
not real.
why would you keep something? Now, this makes it even stranger. Why would you keep something for 20 or 30 years locked up if you just thought it was nothing?
Right, right. That's difficult. I understand. I don't know, Greg. Can you weigh in, because I know your sister
Can,
hangs on
can you
to a
hear
lot of
me?
things.
Yeah, we can hear
Yeah,
Can
you.
you hear me now?
yeah, we can hear
Oh,
you.
okay. Something was really wonky was going on here. It just kept going in and out and in and out. Uh, um, well, keeping something squirreled away for that long, if it isn't really that valuable, it happens every day in this country. That's what storage units are for. And in something, there are times when things, the law of diminishing return kicks in, and after 30 years or 20 years of being in storage, a lot of stuff isn't really worth it anymore. So if you're going to store it, you better make sure that it's definitely valuable, because what's the point of paying for storage for all of those years and not being able to achieve any kind of a profit when you're trying to sell something. But there are things that show up like 40 or 50 years that have never seen the light of day on the market, and when those things show up, that's when a lot of times bidding goes really, really crazy, and things that haven't been seen for that long a time, have been in storage, can really do well. It's not really all that uncommon in our industry to have things like this happen. I mean, I have to just mention my own family in this case. Like, my sister's been
Yes.
has been storing things for 35 years, and furniture and things, and nothing of any great value. And now it's not really worth anything. And the law of diminishing returns has kicked in like 20 years ago. So, storage is a double-edged sword, and sometimes people use it the way it's meant to be used, and other times people just squirrel things away for the sake of they just can't get rid of things.
That's amazing. Well, we're going to wrap.
And in this case, to their advantage.
Yeah, yeah, $60,000. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
They do things big in Texas. A Texan oil tycoon is going to sell off his entire collection of impressionist art, and they now say that should bring in over $200 million. That's happening in November.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you just have to, there's a perfect example. You just have to wonder whether or not he has, or this collector has, his art has been up for people to look at, or for his family to enjoy. Is it just been squirreled away? Is he buying it because it's an investment? So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much that brings. But I mean, I don't know how large the collection is, but $200 million.
Well, it's 25 works.
There are 25 works, and some of them haven't. And they said this rather proudly in their press release, and this is what gets me a little bit upset at times. Many of these works have not been seen in public since before Second World War. Well, come on, it's art. I mean, that's, to me, that's always the rub when it's not available for people to view.
Right. Well, and you know and so here's an interesting twist on that, Marshall, is that the gentleman who passed away, it was Edwin Cox, and these are going to be sold at Christie's. He died at 99 last November, and he served on the board of the museums such as the National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C., and the Dallas Museum of Art, as well as those in the petroleum companies. And he's got a pedigree of being on boards and realizing that art should be in public places. But this is was part of his collection. He had the means, and now it's going out to the public. So it'll be interesting to see what these sell for, because they are all what appear to be, especially from their press releases, that they are all fresh to the market, not having been seen for that long. That also plays in its favor, because it's also collectors look for that.
And I guess when you're a collector for so long and you're 90-some years old, it's not right there in the forefront of your mind, obviously, but it is
Right.
but it is in the forefront of the survivors.
Right, and also it does say that a portion of the sale of the proceeds will go toward educational purposes. So, that's also a component. So that's also good to see.
We actually have something we thought you were going to bring up right away,
Uh-oh.
but you didn't. So now we have Billy the Kid, the gun that killed Billy the Kid, just sold at Bonhams for $6 million. Did you see that?
No, but when I hear you say it now, to me this is going to sound crazy, but to me, if you own the gun that killed Billy the Kid, it sounds like a $6 million gun to me, because Billy the Kid is such a part of American history, whether you like it or not.
Well, it was
Right.
estimated at $2 to $3 million, and it sold at Bonhams on the 27th.
It was on Friday. Yeah, it was last Friday.
And not only that, it actually originally belonged to Billy the Kid, and it was confiscated, and it ended up being used by Pat Garrett
the guy who
eventually killed him.
Oh, that's right.
With it. Killed him with his own gun.
Right.
But you want to talk about provenance?
That's exactly right. There's a good video about it. The curator of the collection, if you look it up, you'll be able to watch it, and it's interesting because there was also a rifle that belonged to Billy the Kid that he used to rob other banks and things, and that was also for sale, but it didn't fetch $6 million. But this gun is the most expensive firearm ever sold.
Well, it's interesting because it's about not only Billy the Kid, but it's about Pat Garrett. It's about the pursuit and the history of Billy the Kid. So I think what you point out also is that it was Billy the Kid's gun originally, and it comes around to what better perfect storm could you have for something bring a higher price in?
Yeah, right. Well, and the other thing about this is that the hammer price was, I think, $5 million, and with the buyer's premium, it jumped it up to $6 million. Like $6 million, just a little over $6 million, $6.03 million. So
that's some buyer's premium.
That's some buyer's premium, and that's some.
Well, I suppose if you have to worry about the buyer's premium, you shouldn't be bidding on this.
That's exactly right. You're exactly right, Greg.
It's all part of the plan.
it's all part of the plan. But yeah, it really speaks for Western guns. It's the most expensive. So and that the record has previously was just shy of $2 million. So this really just kind of jumped. It jumped it, right up to $6 million. So interesting.
All right. Well, from Billy the Kid, I left out my thing on cars. Well, I'll bring that up next week because the shortage of new cars and the used car market is going insane, and it doesn't represent
Yes.
what happens in other auction markets. But that's a conversation for another time.
No.
Are you guys staying?
Only
Are you guys staying put this week?
yes. This week.
Yes. Yes. We're trying. We're just finishing up in renovation hell. We're hopefully by the end of this week I'll have a fully equipped kitchen again.
Oh gosh, did you do the whole full renovation, replacing stoves and stuff like that as well?
Well, no, we ended up just
Countertops,
replacing some
backsplash.
cabinets, and we had to replace backsplash, and
Countertops.
we did the laundry room, and so it's been. We've lived here now for close to 20 years, and we've decided to put some of the equity that we built up back in the house. I
That's
guess
it.
that's what it's all about, being a homeowner.
All right. Well, that and other things. All right, guys. I
Yes.
want you guys to have a great week, and we'll check with you next week.
Sounds
Have a
great.
good week.
Take care,
Bye.
guys.
Take care, Marshall.
Tim, Luke, and Greg Strahm, the appraisal guys, the frickin' frack of Nick and Knack. Appraise this. Once again, you can find them at tqag.com on the web.